Let's be all. This is Jen Fremont. I'm going to talk about travel today. I have had the experience of doing quite a bit of travel, and I say quite a bit. I don't know if it's a lot. How can you quantify? But I've taken trips to Ohio, to House Kepru. I go at least once a year. I used to go twice when they had it, when I was able to pagan campouts. I usually take one trip a year with my mom. We are going to a Bigfoot convention in a couple of weeks here. And when I traveled when I was smaller, I did not notice these things because I wasn't really tuned into the energies. But now when I travel, I make it a point to take in the energies of the places I'm traveling through. I don't fly. If I were going to Europe or something, I'd probably fly, yes, but I generally drive. I have not flown since before 9/11, and tell you the truth, I'm scared to death. I got too many piercings, and I probably look like something that they would want to investigate. So, I stay away from that. And but I like driving. I like long drives. I like seeing the country. I like talking to people. I like seeing how people live in different places. And when I was small, from about the age of probably 5 to 12, something like that, I had a great aunt and uncle that they would take me they usually had a summer trip planned. We went to places like Grand Canyon and Yellowstone. Went to San Diego one year. Places like that. And I always enjoyed it. It did broaden my horizons in a lot of ways. This travel that I've been doing has broadened my horizons in different ways because I am much more aware of the energies. I am much more aware of taking in things, just taking in how people live. I make it a point when I travel to eat at the local restaurants. And if I can't find a local restaurant, I will try to find a chain that I don't know about, that's not in my area. And I found this one little place in Tennessee. It was about 5 miles off the road, and I found it because they had a sign on the highway. And it was a little convenience store in the middle of nowhere. There were tobacco fields and corn fields on either side of it. And the most wonderful barbecue that you could ever eat. They sold rustic furniture. They had this cedar furniture with real thick lacquer on it, and all their furniture inside was like that. And just drink in the atmosphere, watching this guy who's trying to fix the ATM and not having much success with it, and thinking to myself, yeah, an ATM and way out in the country there. But it seemed to be the only store for quite a few miles. There was an industrial area right off the freeway, but as for other commercial stuff, there was nothing. And so it seemed like a lot of folks from around there came to eat because it was pretty packed. And that was one of the gems, and that's something that you can't. I mean, yeah, you could go to another restaurant in your town or something, but it's not going to be the same. And so I do make it a point to eat at the local places. It's a much better chance that you're going to get good food that actually makes you feel good. You go to a chain restaurant. The last time I went to like Chili's, or I guess it was Chili's, I don't know, it's been 10 years I think, or Olive Garden. Oh God, that was just, I don't know what they put in it, but it's not food. You know, I was stuffed when I went out of there, but I was still hungry. And I ate the leftovers later, and I just did not feel good. So I don't know what they do to it, but it's not food. And so you got a much better chance if you go to a local place. That's what my a lot of times my aunt and uncle would stop at the local places. Well, there were a lot more local places to stop at then too. There were chains like Denny's and stuff like that, and we ate at those sometimes. But for the most part, it was local places, and that has changed so much. And motels is another one that it's hard to find a locally owned motel anymore. Or to find one that has the doors outside so you don't have to walk 10 miles with your stuff. And I don't like that. I don't like that because a lot of times the guy at the desk or the woman at the desk gives you the hairy eyeball every time you pass by. And you're just being watched all the time. I don't like that. I like the old-fashioned motel where you can park by the front door of your room, or a lot of times you might not be able to park right in front, but you get the idea. And it was easy to unload your stuff, and it was you didn't have somebody watching you every time you went outside. But I guess they make those for more security or something like that. I don't know. I don't feel more secure in them. I feel oppressed. So I always try to pick those places too, find the local motels in the decent neighborhood that you can actually pull up to your door, or to the stairs if you're going upstairs. But that's kind of my thoughts on traveling, because it's opened my mind so much. Meeting people from other parts of the country, going up to Ohio, driving through. The first time I went up there, I went down to Serpent Mound, and it's out in the country there. So I drove quite a ways on the country roads there. Stopped in one little town, and just got to see how people lived in the country in the Midwest there, which looks a lot different than it does if you're driving through Oklahoma or Texas, New Mexico, places like that. It's totally different. One of the most interesting things I saw out there was, I saw quite a few planes out there, private planes, and Yeah, a lot of people fly out. You know, they live in a remote area, so they fly. And this one was an amphibious plane, and they had built a water strip out there so that it could take off and land in the middle of the country because there wasn't a lake nearby or a river. And that was very interesting. I got a lot of different perspective driving through that and just seeing how people live. I don't know exactly what it changes in you, but it does change you. It changes the way you look at things. You can't look at things the same way anymore. And I like that. Because I think it's for the better that we get as many perspectives as possible. So that's all I have on travel for right now. Blessed be y'all. This is Jen Fremont.